Ladies and gentlemen, a few days ago, I uploaded a video that was titled, Women Should Be Married, Barefoot, and Pregnant. And I knew that I was going to get a lot of pushback on it, and behind the scenes, I absolutely have. I've gotten emails from people that are very upset at that, and they don't like that I'm posting that on social media. Now, I've been called a misogynist. Of course, that's par for the course. People are just going to use that. Doesn't affect me at all. But the one thing that I do think is very interesting is the secondary line of attack, which is you just want a slave. You just want women to be slaves. And I am going to address that in today's video because feminism and modernity has really turned women into slaves. And I'll explain. My prescription for a healthy, successful life is if you're a woman, you turn 18, you start looking for a man to marry, to settle down with. This whole thing of hot girl summer, I'm going to go to college and get ran through, and then I'm going to rack up hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loan debt, and then go look for a job in my preferred field, which is not anything that anyone's looking for, but really what you feel in your heart, feminist interpretive dance. You're going to go into a field, and let's say it's not feminist interpretive dance. Let's say it's something that's actually productive and useful. Let's say that you actually get a job. It's going to take you 10 to 20 years to pay off your student loan debts, and that's being conservative. And then you don't have money to put towards a house or anything that you would want to build a foundation for a family. And so you go, well, I'm not in a financial position to have a family, so I'm going to put it off and put it off and put it off. At the same time, you're bombarded with this thing of it's empowering for you to have sex whenever you want and then get an abortion. So by the time that you're 30 or 35, when all your eggs have dried up, when biology has basically said, okay, you know what? Your ticker is talked. You then become bitter and resentful and angry. And that's what we see with the Karentocracy, is a bunch of women who were sold the lie of feminism that I can do whatever I want. And now they're coming to terms too late with the fact that society told them a lie. And that's why a lot of them are so hateful and so angry. That is the real slavery. And unfortunately, they don't realize it until it's too late. What am I actually saying here? If you really stop and think, what am I saying here? Am I saying that men should go and forcibly breed and impregnate women? No, it's not what I'm saying. The first thing that I say, and we'll just pull this up. Yeah, let me keep that face up because that's my facial expression when I have to see these people say, you just want a slave. You just want a slave. Women, get married. So getting married requires consent from both parties. You get married, you find a guy, and you get married. The other one is obey your husband. You obey your husband. Third one is get pregnant. And my belief, and of course you don't have to listen to every single minutia of what I believe. I'm just giving you a blueprint. I think from the time that you're 20 to the time that you're 30, you should be consistently pregnant. I'll explain why. Because when you're younger, it's easier for your body to recover from pregnancy. When you're aged 20 to 30, that is the prime time where you should be focusing on setting the foundation for a family. Now, if you think that is slavery, you have been brainwashed and indoctrinated in a way that is really quite fascinating and evil and really bizarre. Because every kid that you have is an opportunity for that kid to have a kid of their own and for you to create a legacy. You know, I was listening to Andrew Tate talk about his grandma. It's really endearing. You know, he's talking about his grandma, like, oh, I was in this room and there were 90 people that came from this one woman because she had a bunch of kids and her kids had a bunch of kids. And there was an entire room full of people that all went back to her. Isn't that the most incredible thing? But no. The real incredible thing is you go to a job that can be done by basically anyone. You get paid a wage. Your boss doesn't give a shit about you, would fire you at a moment's notice. No, that's the really important thing that you need to do. I don't know how it is that society has been able to convince women, that feminism has been able to convince women of this. But what I'm saying is the best optimally for society, for men, and for women. Submit to your husband. Get married, submit, get pregnant. It's a very simple formula. It only triggers people that have some sort of insecurity or defect or issue. The ones that email me, that have some sort of problem. But I'm telling you, no matter what it is, no matter what problem you had, oh, I have this bad childhood, my dad was bad. You have an opportunity, if your childhood was bad, to give your kid, and kids, plural, a better childhood than you did. And they can pass that on to their kids. And they can pass that on to their kids. You can build a legacy, a dynasty. You can build a family that matters, the name that matters. And so many people have lost this concept, and it is so basic. But here's the most important part. Women are hungry for purpose. Where do they find their purpose? Well, modernity says, well, you need to find your purpose in a career, in striving to get ahead, in having sex with as many guys as possible and getting abortions, and that's empowerment. That is not empowerment. That is weakness. Giving into your lust or giving into sin is not strength. It is not empowering. Do you know who tries to convince you that it is? The devil, Satan. Because these people have failed. These fat, disgusting feminists that nobody wants, people make fun of. They want to drag you down. They want to talk, no, you should really copy me and what I did. They want to validate their failed, messed up lives by dragging you down with them, crabs in the bucket. And that's why they hate what I have to say. Because what I have to say is very simple. Go to church, embrace Jesus as your Lord and Savior, get married, have kids. If you're able to start with that as the building block and build more from there, that is the recipe for success. And the fact that we even have to have this conversation shows that society is so broken in so many different ways. And I'm going to continue to hammer this point home. It's not going to be a thing in every video. But ladies, I want the best for you. And I'm not here to get mean towards anyone specifically. But I want to pull up two VTubers. Not pull them up. I'm not going to show them on screen. One of them goes by the name of Cottontail VA. Have you heard about this person? This person was a pornographic voice actress for anime, and she's somebody that is very promiscuous. You watch one of her streams, and it's very much like, sex toys, butt plugs, kinks, fetishes, all this other disgusting garbage. This person pretends and puts on a facade like, oh, I'm great. I love my life. I'm fantastic. But it's almost like the crying meme where you see the mask that's smiling and then behind there's tears. Because this person, I watched a clip of them. I think I may have even done a video on it, where they were talking about their friends are getting married. Their friends are getting married, and they're not. And they're getting older, and they don't have kids. And all of that promiscuity and all of that, I'm a girl boss. I can do whatever I want. I can engage with, whoever, fancies me in this particular moment. I'm going to live in the moment, hot girl summer. that leads to absolute failure. Now, the other one that I want to mention as the complete opposite is Narissa Ravencroft, right? The reason is because I don't know why I was recommended this. Maybe it's because I've spammed the word pregnant too many times on my stream. But there was a video, and with the word pregnant, this girl keeps coming up. And the reason is because she constantly, well, not constantly, it's not like an everyday thing, but she talks about being pregnant. And there was a clip of her sister, her older sister. And her older sister is married and has a bunch of kids. And there's something about that where you can just hear when this older sister is talking, you know, not everything is going to be peaches and rainbows and not everything is just immediately going to be fine, but there is a peace in it. There's a peace in it. There's something divine about it. There's something magical about it. And you listen to Narissa when she's asked, without her sister there, like, do you want to get pregnant? She's like, yes. Because when you actually see it, when you actually see people who are married and have kids and have a healthy, loving relationship, you envy it. You want that for yourself. When you see people like Cottontail VA, you want to weep because it's so sad and pathetic that they're alone and they are trying to cope with the fact that their choices are the reason that they're there, and nobody wants to be like that. Nobody wants to be a woman that is aging out of her biological clock, that has made bad choice after bad choice after bad choice with their promiscuity, thinking that that was empowerment, thinking that feminism and girl bossing is the way to go. And then you watch as the clock gets nearer, reality is more cruel than anything that I could ever say. No matter how you feel about what I'm saying, biology is a far more icy cold mistress. And she does not spare anyone. If you're a woman, I don't care how upset this makes you, you have a clock of 10 years, 20 to 30. 20 to 30. If you go past the 30, it's possible. It's possible that you can have one kid, but it's way tougher on your body. You have way less eggs. And to be honest, you have a lot more trauma, a lot more issues, a lot more baggage. And I'm not saying this to be cruel. I'm saying this because it needs to be said, because the opposite is sweet, poisonous lies. Sweet, poisonous lies. Women, you can do everything. No, you can't. And your pursuit of everything is going to lead you with nothing, and you are going to be miserable. And unfortunately, there was nobody who cared enough about you to tell you before it was too late. And these feminists, they all laugh to themselves. Now she's doomed. Now she's as miserable as me. Now she's going to have a bunch of cats and be complaining on the internet about women's rights and be fighting for abortions. Yeah, fighting for the right to murder your offspring, murder a part of yourself, part of your DNA and somebody else's. Wow, how empowering is that? Evil, sadistic, psychotic shit. Feminism is a poison. It is a mind virus. It is pernicious. And I oppose it with every fiber of my being. I don't think I'm going to convince many women of this because many women don't watch my show. But if I could even convince one woman, I would be satisfied. And this may be a little bit harsh for you to hear at the moment, but I'm hoping that at some point it hits you and clicks in. That what I'm saying is absolutely unequivocally true and correct. You should get married, obey your husband, and get pregnant. Down with antinatalism. Have a great day, ladies and gentlemen. See you next time.